WCW World Champion Vader and Sting continue their rivalry at SuperBrawl III in a White Castle of Fear strap match while Barry Windham looks to finally secure the NWA title from the Great Muta. For the first time on WCW pay-per-view television, the British Bulldog Davey Boy Smith takes on Wild Bill Irwin, and Dustin Rhodes makes his first defense of the United States Heavyweight Championship on pay-per-view against Max Payne. Paul Orndorff faces Cactus Jack in a Falls Count Anywhere match, while Chris Benoit also appears for the first time on WCW pay-per-view against Too Cold Scorpio. Two huge tag team matchups, the fresh and new Hollywood Blondes, Brian Pillman and Steve Austin face Marcus Alexander Bagwell with Eric Watts, and the reunited Rock and Roll Express meet their old nemesis, Jim Cornette and his new squad, the Heavenly Bodies, Stan Lane, and Tom Pritchard. SuperBrawl III opens with a tag team contest. Marcus Alexander Bagwell and Eric Watts take on the new combination of Brian Pillman and Steve Austin, the Hollywood Blondes. The fans instantly begin chanting Austin's name, prompting him to do his utmost to provoke them. He kicks off the match facing Bagwell, who consistently gains the upper hand. Bagwell and Watts take turns putting Austin in holds, including alternating on an abdominal stretch. Pillman tries his turn, but Bagwell lifts him with a press slam and catches him off guard with a clothesline. Watts keeps tagging in while the fans continue to boo. Austin and Pillman make an effort at double teaming, but Watts executes a clumsy Oklahoma roll and applies a Boston Crab on Austin. Pillman intervenes and makes an illegal switch with Austin, but Watts tries for an STF. Pillman responds by pretending to sustain a knee injury, sending Watts tumbling to the floor, but he crashes into the guardrail while attempting a dive. Nonetheless, Austin and Pillman eventually seize control by employing double-teaming tactics and distracting the referee. They ultimately set up for a rocket launcher, but Watts lifts his knees. He finally tags Bagwell after colliding with Austin and dodging a running knee attack near the ropes. Bagwell enters the fray with intensity until all four competitors engage in a brawl. Bagwell even successfully executes a fisherman suplex, but the referee is preoccupied, allowing Austin to strike him with a flying axe handle. Pillman then covers Bagwell, securing the victory. Too Cold Scorpio and Chris Benoit square off in the next contest. They sense each other's presence and Benoit delivers strong strikes and a snap suplex. Next, they counter each other's holds with many flourishes and alternate attempting to monkey flip one another. They persist in showcasing their reversals, earning applause from the audience out of admiration, but Scorpio eventually brings the action to the mat. Control shifts quickly until Scorpio misses a missile dropkick, allowing Benoit to wear him down. Benoit traps him in various holds, including something resembling Jericho's Lion Tamer, before executing a super back suplex from the top rope. However, Benoit injures himself while doing so. He recovers and proceeds with a Russian leg sweep and back suplex, but Scorpio catches him off guard with a crossbody and a sunset flip. Benoit skillfully dodges some spin kicks, but Scorpio responds with a spinning splash in the corner and a twisting moonsault for a near fall. Benoit retaliates with a reverse victory roll and a leg drop from the second rope. As the countdown begins in the time limit, both wrestlers counter through various pin attempts until Scorpio secures a 3 count with just 1 second remaining. WCW welcomes the British Bulldog, Davey Boy Smith, as he takes on Wild Bill Irwin in the next match. Davey pushes Irwin around the ring, prompting him to complain about hair pulling. Davey responds with several shoulder blocks, and they execute a crisscross, but Irwin attempts to trick Bulldog. Davey sees through it and clotheslines Bill out of the ring. Bill comes back, and Davey press slams him, causing Irwin to tumble outside once more. He re-enters and finally gains the upper hand with shoulder blocks, forearms, and a corner clothesline, but Davey escapes from his pin attempts. They then start exchanging wild punches until Bulldog performs a delayed suplex followed by more clotheslines. He subsequently catches Irwin during a crossbody and delivers the running power slam to secure the victory. After the match, Smith tells the crowd that he's in WCW to win the World Heavyweight Championship, letting Vader know that he's coming after him for it. In the fourth match, Cactus Jack takes on Paul Orndorff in one of his specialties, a Falls Count Anywhere match. Jack pursues Orndorff through the curtain and their match commences. Jack follows him around the ring and misses several swings with the shovel, prompting referee Randy Anderson to confiscate it from him. Orndorff seizes the opportunity and sends Cactus crashing into the guardrail before choking him with some cable. Jack retaliates and then goes on to damage his own body by pulling up the mats and executing both a cactus elbow and a flying sunset flip. They engage in a struggle both inside and outside of the ring, with Paul ultimately throwing Jack over 2 guardrails before they continue their fight in the aisle. Orndorff then suplexes Jack onto a guardrail and drives his face into the metal. They finally make their way back to the ring, where Orndorff removes Jack's knee brace to target his knee. He traps him in a figure 4, but Jack punches his way free from the hold. After that, he brings Cactus to the floor and slams the knee into the concrete. They go back into the ring, and Paul fetches a chair before signaling that he intends to piledrive him onto it. However, Jack seizes his shovel and knocks Orndorff out for the 3 count. The Rock and Roll Express, Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson are back together to take on the Heavenly Bodies with Jim Cornette. The Bodies enter the ring accompanied by both Cornette and Bobby Eaton, who was considered an unofficial 3rd member. Cornette mocks the audience, but the referee tells him that Eaton must leave. Gibson and Pritchard initiate the match, with both members of the Express taking Tom down using hip tosses and head scissors. Lane comes in next and receives a similar treatment before all 4 wrestlers engage in a brawl. The Express continues to ram the Bodies into one another before double-teaming Pritchard. The Bodies attempt to retaliate, but Morton resists their efforts. They then perform a crisscross, but Morton leaves the ring to pursue Cornette, leading to a collision with Tom Pritchard. Jim humorously stumbles around, prompting the Express to start hitting everyone. However, Cornette responds by tripping Ricky, which initiates the double-teaming. The Bodies utilize referee distractions for Cornette to strike, as they begin to wear down the unfortunate Morton. They execute several tandem maneuvers, and when Ricky tries to restore momentum, Cornette diverts the referee's attention. Pritchard delivers a solid sit-out powerbomb to Ricky, and Lane follows with a power slam, but Morton interrupts another double team with a double DDT. He ultimately manages to make a hot tag to Gibson, transforming the match into a chaotic 4-way brawl. Pritchard executes a bulldog on Gibson, while Cornette distracts the referee yet again. The Bodies backdrop Gibson out of the ring, and then Eaton attempts to interfere, but accidentally strikes Pritchard. Gibson subsequently covers for the victory. After the match, the Bodies argue with Eaton. In the first championship match of the night, Dustin Rhodes defends the U.S. title against Max Payne. Rhodes asserts early dominance with his forearms, a lariat, and arm drags, causing Payne to keep repositioning. Then, Dustin begins to apply pressure on the arm. Max seeks to gain the upper hand, yet Dustin returns to the hold until Payne jerks him down to the mat and secures an arm bar. He maintains the grip through a few reversals and then executes a clothesline before reciprocating Dustin's work on the arm. Dustin retaliates until Max intercepts him during a crossbody attempt and slams him to the canvas. Nevertheless, Payne misses an elbow drop, and Dustin delivers a mule kick before landing a lariat. He then follows that with an unexpected suplex and puts Max in an abdominal stretch. Max ultimately escapes the hold by dragging the referee into Dustin, which leads to a disqualification. Barry Windham challenges the Great Muta for the NWA World Championship in the next contest. Ric Flair has returned to WCW and is ringside for commentary on the match. Referee Randy Anderson clarifies that this contest follows NWA rules, but the audience nearly overpowers him with a chant of, "We want Flair." They initially gauge each other's abilities, but Muta quickly takes the action to the mat, for a brief period. Whenever Windham attempts to counter, Muta takes him down with strikes and consistently returns to a headlock. He incorporates a snap elbow drop, but he primarily focuses on the headlock. Barry finally seizes control when Muta fails to connect with a dropkick. He connects with a DDT and suplexes Muta both inside and outside the ring. Afterward, he delivers several knee drops and applies a sleeper hold on Muta for an extended duration. Windham utilizes the ropes for support, but he ultimately gets caught. Muta recuperates, and they exchange chops, but Barry gouges the eyes and also applies a headlock. Muta makes an effort to fight back with a sunset flip, a crossbody, and a back kick, but Windham consistently reestablishes control. Nevertheless, Muta blocks a superplex and delivers a flying chop. He then executes the handspring elbow and a backbreaker, but he fails to connect with the moonsault. He gets another opportunity after reversing a suplex, but this time Wyndham elevates his knees. Wyndham then takes advantage by landing a lariat and a DDT to secure the victory. Following the match, Flair hands Barry the title and attempts to fasten it around Wyndham's waist. Barry retracts when he realizes what is occurring and glares at Flair. Rick picks up on the cue and exits the ring, while Barry poses with the championship belt. The next match is the unsanctioned White Castle of Fear strap match. Vader vs. Sting. Vader's WCW title is not on the line. The winner is declared when one competitor drags his opponent to all four corners, touching each turnbuckle. They begin with a tug-of-war, yet there are no flames present this time. Vader brings Sting down to the ground a few times and strikes him with the strap before executing a second rope splash. Sting responds by yanking the strap into Vader's groin while he poses and then sends Vader crashing to the mat. Sting then reciprocates by landing several flying splashes and begins to whip both Vader and Race. Vader rolls out of the ring, revealing that he's bleeding from his back. Sting follows him and slams Vader into the post. Next, Sting touches two posts, which counts as hitting a corner, but Vader pulls him into the guardrail to halt his momentum. They re-enter the ring and exchange moves. Sting performs a Samoan drop, but Vader counters with several avalanche attacks. Sting counters by backdropping Vader during a powerbomb attempt, but he fails to connect with a flying splash. Vader capitalizes with Samoan drops both on the mat and from the turnbuckles, along with a Vader bomb. He also succeeds in hitting two corners, but Sting prevents him from hitting the third. Yet, Vader goes for another Vader bomb, and misses. Sting even causes Vader to land awkwardly on the top rope and pulls him back into the ring, but Vader wins a slugfest and delivers a superplex. He then touches three corners, but Sting clings to the bottom rope. Vader continues to dominate Sting in the corner, but Sting catches him off guard with a rolling kick, a DDT, and some hard punches. Sting lifts Vader and starts touching the corners, but Vader's foot hits the referee. He gets to three, yet Sting trips over the referee and Vader sits on Sting. Afterwards, Vader drags Sting to three corners and Sting attempts to resist the last one, but unintentionally kicks Vader into the fourth for the victory. Following the match, Sting instantly begins to whip Vader with the strap until Vader rolls outside. In the spring of 1993, WCW witnessed the return of Sid Vicious and the entry of The Prisoner, aka Nails. The Hollywood Blondes became the dominant tag team, winning the world titles, and Rick Rude returned from injury to challenge Dustin Rhodes for the U.S. title that was taken away from him. After winning the NWA title at SuperBrawl, Barry Windham held off the challenge from fellow Four Horsemen, Arn Anderson at Slamboree, but waiting in the wings was the former champion, Nature Boy Ric Flair, looking to reclaim glory. Sting and Vader established a pattern of trading victories over each other after the results of Starrcade and SuperBrawl, swapping the WCW title on a European tour. Sting defeated Vader in London and Vader reclaimed the title in Dublin, Ireland.